I thought the scariest part of driving at night was picking up strangers. I was wrong. The real horror starts when your passenger... My name is Daniel Harper. I'm 27 years old, and I drive for Uber in Northern California. Most people think rideshare driving is boring. Late nights, tired passengers, awkward silence. But for me, night shifts were peaceful. The roads were empty. The city felt quieter, and the tips were better. That night I logged in at 2:41 a.m. The air was cold. Fog rolled over the highway like slow-moving smoke. My dashboard clock blinked, 3:17 a.m. That's when the request came in. Pickup location, Old Pine Road, near Redwood National Park. I frowned. Nobody ever requested rides from that area. There were no houses there, just forest, miles of trees, no streetlights, no signal most of the time. I almost declined, but the payout was unusually high, $48 for a 12-minute ride. That made no sense. I accepted. As I drove deeper into the forest road, my phone signal dropped to 1 bar. The GPS started glitching. The road narrowed until it became a dirt path. Fog wrapped around my headlights. Then, I saw someone standing in the middle of the road. A woman. She was tall, too tall. Her arms hung too long by her sides. She wore a long white dress that looked dirty, torn at the edges. She didn't move when my headlights hit her. She just stood there, waiting. My heart started pounding. I slowed down. The app still showed. Passenger waiting. The woman slowly raised her head. Her face was pale, too pale. Her eyes were black, not dark brown, black, like holes. She opened the back door of my car and sat down without a word. The door shut by itself. The inside of my car felt colder instantly. My breath fogged the windshield. Hi, I said. Destination? No response. The app suddenly updated. Drop-off location, Forest Service Road, 9B. That location didn't exist on my GPS. I checked my mirrors. She was staring straight ahead. Not blinking, not breathing. Her reflection didn't show in the mirror. My stomach dropped. I swallowed. Seatbelt, please. Click. The seatbelt locked into place on its own. I started driving. The road twisted deeper into the woods. The fog thickened. Trees closed in from both sides like walls. Every few seconds I felt like someone was sitting in the front seat beside me. But I was alone. Or at least, I thought I was. Then she spoke. Her voice was dry, like leaves scraping concrete. You shouldn't have come. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. What? You weren't meant to see us. The temperature dropped again. Frost formed on the edges of my windows. I pressed the accelerator. The speedometer jumped, then froze. My radio turned on by itself. Static, then whispers. Hundreds of voices whispering my name. Daniel. Daniel. Daniel! She leaned forward. Her breath brushed my ear. Cold, like breathing in winter air. There are things that live between roads, she said, in places humans don't look at twice. The trees outside looked wrong. Their branches bent toward the car, like reaching arms. I slammed the brakes. The car didn't stop. The road ahead disappeared. The GPS screen went black. The app vanished. My phone showed no service. Then the passenger whispered, "Look at me." I didn't want to. I couldn't. But my neck moved on its own. Her face was closer now, too close. Her mouth stretched wider than humanly possible. Her teeth were thin and needle-like. Her eyes were no longer black. They were empty, hollow, like deep tunnels going into darkness. You gave us permission when you accepted the ride. I drive nights because it's easier to forget people that way. When the sun is up, everyone wants to talk. They complain about work, relationships, traffic. At night, most passengers just sit in silence, staring at their phones, waiting to get home. I'd been driving for Lyft in a small town in Oregon for almost 2 years. Nothing dramatic ever happened. No assaults, no crazy stories. Just long stretches of empty roads and the low hum of my engine. That changed on a Tuesday night in October. Rain drummed against my windshield. The town felt dead. Every store closed, every street empty. It was 2:58 a.m. when my phone buzzed with a ride request. Pickup location, Marrow Creek Road, mile marker 14. I hesitated. Marrow Creek Road cut through a section of forest that locals avoided. There were old logging paths out there, abandoned cabins, and miles of nothing. No houses, no businesses, just trees and darkness. The payout was high. Too high for a ride that short. I told myself it was probably someone stranded after a party. I accepted the request. The GPS led me away from the town lights and into the forest. Rain turned to mist. My headlights tunneled through fog so thick it looked solid. I rolled down my window to clear the windshield fog. That's when I smelled something strange. Not garbage, not smoke. Wet metal, like old blood on rusted iron. I reached the pickup point. There was no house, no car, no person, just trees. Then my back door opened. I jumped. A girl stepped into my back seat without asking. She was maybe 19 or 20. Long dark hair soaked from the rain. She wore a gray hoodie and jeans that looked too thin for the cold. She didn't look at me. She just sat there, dripping water onto my floor mat. Hey, I said. You okay? No response. I checked the app. The destination had updated to a place called Clearwater Crossing. That didn't exist. My GPS showed a blank stretch of road. Is this right? I asked. She nodded slowly. Her movements were delayed, like she was reacting to me a second too late. I started driving. The rain eased into a fine mist. The forest closed in around the road, branches arching overhead. In my rearview mirror, her face was wrong. Not distorted, just empty. Her eyes focused on something behind me. Something I couldn't see. You picked me up before, she said suddenly. Her voice was soft, flat. I don't think so, I replied. I'd remember. She tilted her head. You don't remember the ones who don't make it home. My stomach tightened. Look, if you're trying to mess with me. You stopped here last winter, she interrupted. Same road, same fog. My hands grew slick on the steering wheel. I wasn't driving last winter, I said. I had surgery. I was off the road for months. She smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It still counts. My dash cam beeped. The screen flickered, then went black. That happens sometimes, I muttered, more to calm myself than to explain. The girl leaned forward. Her breath touched the back of my neck, cold. You shouldn't record this road, she whispered. I swerved slightly. Please don't do that, I said. You're freaking me out. She leaned back again. Silence stretched. The forest grew darker. The road narrowed until my tires brushed gravel on both sides. My GPS lost signal. The radio crackled with static. Then a voice came through. Not from the radio, from the back seat. You didn't stop last time. I glanced in the mirror. Her eyes were no longer on me. They were fixed on the dash cam. You left her here, she said. Left who? I asked. She pointed to the side of the road. I followed her finger. In the darkness between the trees, I saw a shape. A person standing just beyond the reach of my headlights. A woman in a torn jacket. Her face was pale. Her mouth hung open like she was screaming. But no sound came out. I slammed the brakes. The car skidded to a stop. When I looked again, she was gone. The road ended at a broken wooden sign. Clear water. Crossing the letters were rotting away. Beyond it, the pavement disappeared into a muddy path leading down toward a creek. "This isn't safe," I said. "I'm not going down there." The girl's reflection didn't show in the mirror anymore. "I'm already home," she said. The back door opened by itself. She stepped out into the fog. "Wait," I called. "You didn't pay." She turned. For the first time, I saw her clearly. Her hoodie was stained dark around the chest, like something had soaked through the fabric long ago. "You don't charge the dead," she said. She walked toward the trees. Then she vanished into the fog. I drove back to town in silence. I didn't check my dash cam. I didn't check the app. I just wanted to get home. The next afternoon, 2 police officers knocked on my door. They asked if I'd picked up a girl from Marrow Creek Road the night before. My throat went dry. "Yes," I said. "Is she okay?" They exchanged a look. "There's no record of a ride," one officer said, "and the girl you're describing went missing 8 months ago." They showed me her photo. Same face, same eyes. She'd been last seen hitchhiking near Marrow Creek Road. They searched my car. No footprints, no wet floor mat, no trace of a passenger. When they left, I finally checked my dashcam footage. The video showed my car driving down the forest road. The back seat was empty, but the audio picked up a voice. Her voice. "You didn't stop last time." That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I felt breath on my neck. I replayed the audio again and again. At the end of the clip, there was something else. A second voice. Low, not human. It whispered, "Bring us another." The next time I drove at night, I felt someone sit behind me, even when my back seat was empty. People say the hours before dawn are the quietest. They're wrong. Those hours aren't quiet. They're listening. I'd been driving for a rideshare company in Washington State for a little over a year. Mostly college kids, airport runs, bar pickups. Nothing dramatic. Nothing worth telling stories about. That changed on a night I almost didn't go out. It was early November, cold enough that my breath fogged the windshield even with the heater on. The rain came in light sheets, just enough to blur the edges of everything. At 4:12 a.m., my phone buzzed. Pickup location: Millstone Trailhead, Olympic National Forest. I stared at the screen. The trailhead was miles away from any town. No bars, no houses, no reason for anyone to need a ride at that hour. I hovered my thumb over decline. The fare was high, too high. Curiosity won. I accepted. The paved road ended 10 minutes later. My headlights carved a narrow tunnel through mist and trees. Everything beyond them was black. When I reached the pickup point, there was only a wooden sign and a dirt pull-off. Then I saw him. A man stood near the tree line. Tall, broad shoulders, wearing a dark coat that hung too loosely on his frame. He didn't wave. He didn't move. He just watched my car. I stopped. The back door opened. He got in. The car dipped slightly under his weight. "Morning," I said, trying to sound casual. No response. I checked the mirror. His face was hidden by the shadow of his hood. The app updated with a destination: Ridgeway Crossing. My GPS showed a blank space. "That's not on my map," I said. "You'll find it," he replied. His voice was calm. Too calm. I started driving. The road twisted downhill. Trees crowded closer. Their branches brushed the sides of my car with soft, dragging sounds. After 5 minutes, we passed the same broken fence. I noticed because of the way one post leaned at an angle, wrapped in yellow tape. 5 minutes later, we passed it again. I slowed down. "We've been here already," I said. "No," the man replied. "This road only goes one way." We passed the fence a third time. My stomach knotted. I checked the GPS. It spun, trying to recalibrate. The man leaned forward. "You shouldn't rely on maps out here." His breath touched my ear. It smelled like damp soil. The air inside the car grew heavy. I rolled down the window. The forest was silent. No insects, no wind, no distant highway noise. "You ever wonder why people go missing out here?" the man asked. I didn't answer. "They think the forest is empty," he continued. "But it's not. It's full, just not with things you recognize." His reflection didn't appear in the mirror. I swallowed hard. "Look," I said. "If this is some kind of joke." He chuckled softly. "You accepted the ride," he said. "That means you agreed to the route." The headlights flickered. For a split second, the trees looked wrong. Their trunks bent inward, like ribs around a chest. The road opened into a clearing. A rusted metal gate stood across the path. A sign hung crookedly from one hinge. "Ridgeway Crossing. Authorized access only beyond it." The ground dipped into darkness. "Stop here," the man said. I put the car in park. The engine kept running. He opened the door. Cold air rushed in. Before stepping out, he turned to me. "You don't remember the last time you came here, do you?" My heart hammered. "I've never been here." He smiled. "Everyone says that." He stepped into the darkness. The door closed. The clearing was empty. The man was gone. I drove back toward town without looking back. Every mile felt longer than the last. When the lights of civilization finally appeared, I pulled over and shut off the app. At home, I checked my dashcam footage. The camera showed the drive, the road looping, the clearing, but the back seat was empty. There was no man, no door opening, no voice, only me, talking to myself. That night I dreamed of the forest, of roads folding into themselves, of trees bending inward. When I woke up, my phone buzzed. A new ride request. Pickup location: Millstone Trailhead, Olympic National Forest. The time, 4:12 a.m. I deleted the app. It still sends me notifications.